Whether your beer is in a bottle, can, or glass, kick back and relax. It's Better on Draft.
Hello and welcome to Better on Draft. My name is Rob. I'm one of your hosts. It has been a minute, so hopefully you remember me. I do sound a little funny right now because I'm fighting a bit of a cold. And with me is Wendy. Hey, Wendy, welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm waving at you like everybody can see me. It's been a while. Obviously, I'm doing fantastic.
Excellent. What are you drinking today?
I am drinking Hoof Hearted's. It's 5 o'clock somehow. It is a double IPA brewed with Phantasm, double dry hopped with Citra and Nectron hops. And it is delicious.
Nice. Today I have a Rheingeist Truth Bomb because I saw one in the store and got it. I'm not sure what hops are in it, and they don't have it on the can, but I love their Truth series a lot. So I don't know that I've had this one before, but I'm looking forward to it. It is pretty good. This one's a 9.5.
You have been out and about. Your
Yes.
trip is much more exciting than mine have been, so I want to hear about yours.
Yeah, but yours was first. I can get started. That's fine. Right, I went to Australia and New Zealand for 3 weeks and a bit. It started with a trip to Melbourne from here in Indianapolis. I had to connect through San Francisco because there are not direct Indianapolis to Australia flights. We actually had some plane troubles, just weather related. So it was that annoying thing where the airline doesn't have to do anything about it. And we missed the connection in San Francisco. There is one flight a day. And so we had to stay in San Francisco for a full day, which is not bad. Yeah, I can think of worse cities.
Right.
We had a really good time. We were mostly just walking around. It was impromptu. We didn't have our luggage because it was still on the plane, or it was in storage or wherever. We would have had to request it. And they said it could take 5 hours. Like, no, thank you. We went to Ghirardelli Square, and there is a brewery there. So I did get to visit a brewery there at Ghirardelli Square, right along the waterfront. It was beautiful. The beer was tasty. Unfortunately, the World Cup was just starting. And generally fortunate, but it's also a sports bar, and it got super loud and crowded. So we had our beer and left because it was just too loud and crowded for what we wanted. After being in the same clothes we were getting close to 48 hours at that point. So
I think I've told this story before about when I was in Miami for World Cup, and it was 100% the best day of brewery hopping I've ever done because every brewery had a different game they were watching.
Oh, fun.
Supporting different teams. So I got a little bit of everything when I was there. It was amazing. And they just folded you right in as long as you were rooting for the right team.
That's awesome. That's great. I've done that sort of thing just during like Premier League football, I guess, stuff, where we go to various bars that support different teams. And it's just a lot of fun. We did eventually make it to Melbourne, though. And that same night, I went to a brewery that I later found out it's about a 15 to 20 minute walk. We did not go the direct route because we were out and about first. And it's called Rocky Ridge. Really great place. This, I guess, is it's a brewery and tap room, but it's not their main brewery. They have a bigger facility outside of town. They do distributing. But I had just a wonderful, wonderful time there, drinking in the first Australian brewery that I ended up in. So this one is the one that my son and his girlfriend, they frequent, and they've got that rewards program type stuff that a lot of places have. So apparently we were drinking free that first night just on all the rewards that they had acquired. Nice. Yeah, so that was pretty great. I did talk to them about possibly being on the show, and they were interested. So I need to reach out to them. I wish I could remember what beers I had. I remember one of them was a black IPA, and it was delicious. They all were delicious. But when I see a black IPA, I tend to order it.
I do not.
Yeah, yeah. So they were a lot of fun, and then we spent a little over a week in Melbourne at that point. Did all sorts of stuff. We rode. They've got a train outside town called the Puffin Billy. So this one's not so beer related, except that there was beer at the departure station. So that was, but the Puffin Billy is a little steam engine. It's pretty cute, and they've got a bunch of passenger cars hooked up to it, probably about 10 of them, and they all were full. But the neat thing with this one, you sit on a bench in the middle, facing outward, and it's set up so that people prefer to sit in the windowsill with their legs hanging out, like they've got bars so you don't fall off the thing. But it runs along the side of some mountains along the Yarra River Valley. So it's just these breathtaking views. There's you can see forever from up there, and you just wind around for a while and get to the next town and the next town, and then we head back to town. So that was a lot of fun. That was a good day. On the way out there, we booked a tour because we didn't want to bother with driving on the left side, or renting a car, parking a car. All of that stuff is annoying. But we took the tour, and on the way out there, the guy, we had some extra time because everybody was on time. So we stopped at this park on the way out, and we saw probably 50 kangaroos just hanging out in the park. And that was really cool. There was one that had a little Joey sticking out of her pouch, just back in the woods too. That was great. I've got some pictures of all that. But that was great. You could get really close to them. They weren't too skittish, but they were definitely staying away from people. So the kangaroos were awesome. There were tons of weird birds that we saw out there in the wild. And then our second stop on the way to the Puffing Billy.
Do you use the Merlin app?
I don't. I know. I kind of wish I had down there.
I'm so disappointed to hear that.
Yeah.
I figured you of all people would know about that.
I do know about it. I've got a good friend who he actually has a setup at his house. He lives here in Indianapolis, where he's got a Raspberry Pi sitting out there recording all the birds, and then checking what is visiting and for how long and all this stuff. And so he automatically records a bird log of the stuff in his backyard.
Yes.
So
I got 2 new birds this week. So.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yes. So just so you know, like it happens.
Maybe
it's things that you get excited about when you're 50.
I might have to look into this because I have become inordinately excited about birds. I saw a turkey vulture on my street the other day. I was driving out and I saw this huge bird sitting in the middle of the street, and I thought that looks like a turkey. No, it's a turkey vulture. And then it's there for a reason, and it was there because something had died on the road.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Circle of life.
It is the circle of life. Our second stop, and I'm not going to go into detail on every single day like this, but our second stop out there, we did our first real bushwalk. So that was really cool. We just walked through these woods. They've got these huge pine trees. I think they were called West California pines, something like that. They are the second largest tree in the world. They grow to, I think it was 500 meters or something, some ridiculous height. Like only the redwoods are bigger. So it was a forest of these things, also tree ferns and a bunch of other stuff. So it was kind of like Jurassic Park type of a thing. It was really cool. But back there's a bunch of signs saying that there's a lyrebird that lives in that area. Unfortunately, we did not hear the lyrebird because they are apparently really cool to hear. And I later found out that they get extra shy when they're like molting. So as soon as they're between the plumage that they have for attracting mates, they hide a lot more than when they have plumage. And I found this out much later at the Sydney Zoo where we saw a lyrebird. But again, it didn't make noise, but there's videos of them making the noises and stuff. So they're just really cool to hear. Yeah, that was day 2, I think. We were down there in Melbourne. But the city itself is really, really great. The transit is amazing. We were staying along a tram line, and it's one of like 6 night trams, so it runs 24/7. Really convenient, but the times that we were generally riding it, there was one every 5 minutes. I don't remember what it cost. I want to say it was $4 Australian per trip or something like that, with the max for the day, of course, and all those other things. But it was cheap. It was accessible. It was really, really easy to get to downtown and other places from there. Yeah, I can't recommend Melbourne highly enough. They have a lot of great breweries. So I went to Rocky Ridge every Sunday that I was there, which I guess was 3 Sundays, if my math is right. I think it was 3 Sundays. Anyway, we went to Rocky Ridge a few times, and just had a great time every time we were there. There are a bunch of beer bars nearby, craft beer bars that they have great long lists of taps. So 20, 30 taps in the bars. And then you pass tiny hole in the wall breweries that you don't know they're there. They just have a sign up front that says that they're a brewery. That was pretty cool. And there were quite a few that are more along the lines of a large brewery that has tap rooms out there. So Mountain Culture would be one of those. I don't remember where Mountain Culture brews their stuff, but it's not in Melbourne. But I think they do some brewing at this location. At least they have the equipment there. And they had, I want to say 20 of their own taps. Some of those were collabs. Like I had a collab with, I totally lost the name. Brewery out of New York that has all the really long titles for their beers.
Oh,
anyway, yeah. Yeah, I've lost the name. But yeah, so they had just done a collab with them. I ended up getting that beer because it was a style. I can't remember what style it was. I think it was a stout. There just weren't many stouts down there, even though it was winter. We also did trivia at this place. So my son and his girlfriend like to do trivia there, and we helped. And we ended up second to last in trivia. So we did not do well. It was a lot of Australian culture questions and a lot of Australian history questions. So I just really did not do well on that one. But second last was actually the place to be. Like the first 3 teams, I think, all got money or the equivalent of money for the brewery, like gift cards and stuff. But the second to last team got something out of the host's grab bag, and we ended up with a sleeve of Tim Tams. So that's a pretty good get. Are you familiar with Tim Tams?
I'm not.
Okay. I don't know if it's the best description, but the description I've been using is that if you imagine you have your 2 Twix that are stuck together,
Okay.
without caramel, it's like that. It's just a big block of like cookie stuff covered in chocolate. It's really, really good. But the thing to do with them is to bite off opposite corners of the Tim Tam, and then you can use it like a straw. And if you do that with coffee, it all gets ooey gooey, and you just pop it in your mouth, and it all melts, and it's delicious. It's so good.
Okay.
You can do it with stouts. You can do it with any liquid, obviously, but it works well with stouts just because of the flavors, and it works great with coffee. So it's the thing to do.
That's fun. By the way, Evil Twin is the brewery that has the long names.
Thank you. That was who they had done a collab
That's
with.
what I thought, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it.
Yeah, it was something like "Get these snakes off this bus" or something like that. So, Let's see. So we did Melbourne for about a week and a half, let's say, and then we went to Sydney for a few days. And Sydney was a completely different city from Melbourne. Not surprising. It would be more like San Francisco almost, where it's on hill. It's on a bunch of really steep hills with a big bay in there. So that is how it's like San Francisco. Um, we took the ferry to the zoo because that's the thing you can do there. And we took a hop on, hop off bus all around the town, went out to Bondi Beach. Again, it was winter, so we didn't really do anything at the beach because it was kind of cold. And there were some people out there sunning, but it was probably the 50s when we were there. So it was kind of chilly. Saw the Opera House, of course. It's a funny city because if you're in, a certain part of it, like downtown, all the way out east of downtown, so quite a ways, pretty much out to Bondi Beach. If you'll be walking around and you'll go around a corner and suddenly you see the Opera House and the harbor behind it and all that stuff, or you'll see the Harbor Bridge, or you'll see both of them. So it was a really neat city. It was really pretty. We enjoyed walking around there. It felt busier than Melbourne, but we're not sure if that's because we were staying in the central business district, which is what they call their main downtown areas. In Sydney, but in Melbourne, we were in almost a suburb. It was a very busy suburb. So let's see. Then we went back to Melbourne, did some things for a bit. And part of the reason our trip was all broken up weird like that is that my son is working and we were mostly down there to see him. But since he had to work, we could only see him on weekends. So we, planned a lot of stuff to do without him during the week.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So our return trip was again for a weekend, and then we headed off to New Zealand. I guess there's one more Australia thing I need to bring up too, is that we went out to Phillip Island. I always want to call it Princess Island, but that is in Calgary, Phillip Island. And there's a brewery out there. This brewery that my son was excited to take me to. It's just a guy's farm, and he converted a shed into his brewery. And so he put a porch on the end of it, put a couple awnings over the porch. It's very, if you're familiar with the Australia shed culture, it's very Australia shed, where he's obviously built all this just random stuff to make whatever needed to work. And so, and it's all strewn throughout his backyard. But the big draw to this place, and I wish I could remember its name. It's something Creek, if I remember right, Green Creek maybe. The big draw there is that they have a rooster. So they'll give you little things of bird seed to feed the rooster with. So the rooster will happily come and eat the bird seed out of your hand and strut around. It was a beautiful rooster, very colorful. But from there, we went to go see the little penguins, which is the smallest breed of penguins. They are nocturnal. They mostly live at sea, like they live at sea for months or years at a time. But they will come up on land and dig a burrow and live in the burrow for a few days and then go back out to sea. And so we were there to watch them.
Needed a nap.
I guess they just, sick and tired of swimming. They wanted to get away from fish for a little while. I'm not sure. But so we were sitting on these bleachers they've got built on the beach to watch the little penguins come out. And it's dark, it's windy, it's rainy. We are cold and miserable. But you hear this peeping sound that they make, and then a wave will crash and there will be 50 of them standing on a rock in a huddle, and they start waddling up on the beach. It was so cool. They've got a boardwalk set up to get from the beach back to the visitor center area, where they can sell the gift shop stuff and all that. And they've got it set up as a boardwalk because the penguins walk underneath it. And so you just kind of stop and you look down, and there'll be 4 or 5 penguins just standing there, resting, shaking, warming up and stuff. And just they're hanging out right there to the boardwalk, and you get a really good view of the penguins. They're so cute. So
Nice.
that was kind of a
Yeah,
highlight.
penguin.
Yeah. I don't know if the birding app would identify the penguins. They don't make much noise once they were on land.
If they are in there though,
Yeah.
they will, because of you can do it by picture.
Oh, okay.
I've done that a few times when I was on an island where I took a picture of the bird because they weren't really singing, and then I was able to identify them. So,
All right, I'll have to give that app a try. I don't think I'm going to see any
they
more.
should actually sponsor us with as much as I talk about it. Though they are a nonprofit, so they do need our help to support them.
All right, so yeah, we'll make sure to get the link to that in the show notes. Yeah, the penguins are awesome. So all in all, while I was there, I saw the gray-headed flying foxes, which are, I don't know if they're the largest bats in the world, but they're huge. They're very large bats. There's a colony of them that lives in Melbourne in one of the big parks. It's a huge park. It's beautiful too. The Yarra River Park there. And again, it's winter, so like only a third of the colony was there, which meant there were only like 10,000 bats hanging from trees. But I went and saw them. They were really cool. They were sleeping, but they were stretching and making lots of weird noises, and kind of wandering around, but not flying yet because it was still daytime because I wasn't hiking in the night. But there was a wallaby right there, like just hanging out with the bats too. So I got really kind of close to a wallaby and got some good pictures of that thing just sitting there eating grass or whatever they do. And then after that, there were some more kangaroos. They were just hanging out on a golf course. And the conversation with actual Australians usually went along the lines of, have you seen any kangaroos yet? And I would say, yes, I saw some at the golf course. And they say, oh, yeah, that's where you see roos.
So they're kind of like the deer of Australia.
I think so. I think they are. Anyway, so we did Melbourne, Sydney, Melbourne. Now we went to New Zealand. We went to Auckland, which is on the north part of the North Island. There were a few reasons that we wanted to go there, but one big one was Greg. Let's see, he was in episode 348, where we talked to him about his brewery, Brewocracy. He was also in episode 388, Beer Judging with Beer Judges.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but his brewery, Bureaucracy, is about an hour and a half south of Auckland in a largish city called Hamilton. But getting a flight to Hamilton is not as easy as getting one to Auckland. So,
right.
And once you're in Hamilton, you're in Hamilton. When you're in Auckland, you're in Auckland. There's a lot of stuff there. So that was why we chose Auckland. But we did see Greg. We saw his brewery. Had a great time there. Had a great time in, I wish I could remember the name of the town. There's a cute little town nearby that they're really into corrugated sheet metal.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that it was just that one set of residents was really into corrugated sheet metal. They made these gigantic buildings. You can look up the big sheep and the big dog. It's on like well, you can find them. It's in that Encyclopedia Obscura. But that's how it started. They built a sheep and ram building and a sheepdog building. There used to be a yarn shop in the sheep building, but that has since moved, and it's basically a gift shop in there. I can't remember what was in the sheepdog building. It might have been the visitor center. And then the ram had something else in it as well. But because they got set up and they were so big into this corrugated sheet metal, all of the buildings in there have some sort of sheet metal decoration in front of them. Like there were flowers, there was, I want to say, a cowboy, there were, just people, animals, all these very large signs on the fronts of their buildings, kind of giving an indication of what the building was, but it was really neat and colorful and pretty. Which gets me to New Zealand, which is a beautiful, beautiful place.
I'm going to throw this up here real quick.
Okay. Is it the big dog? Yeah, there's the
dog.
there he is. That's the big dog. And there's the big sheep. And there should be a ram next to that sheep too, somewhere. There it is.
There he is.
It's sheep and the ram. So anyway, they're just, big buildings, but they're in the shape of a dog and two sheep, which is kind of cool.
I mean, it's fun.
Yeah. Auckland, well, so at least that part of New Zealand, it's all dormant volcanoes. I'm pretty sure the whole country is dormant volcanoes. They make sure, like, they drive that home. They're not extinct volcanoes. They are dormant. They still could erupt at any moment. And so there's, I don't know, several volcanoes within sight. Let's say 4 or 5 volcanoes within sight at most times. But it's not like the Rockies or anything, because they're all just this distinct peak poking up out, with nothing major around it. So that was really neat. And then there's rolling hills between them. We went to Hobbiton, visited the Shire, did as much touristy stuff as we could there. I had a pint of stout at the Green Dragon Inn at the end of the tour. So that was really cool. It just beautiful. It's so green and lush and rolling hills. Hobbiton is in the middle of a sheep farm. And so we were surrounded by just thousands of sheep wandering around. So that was pretty cool too. You look outside the Shire and there's all these sheep dotting the hills. We did, so Greg took me on what he called the beer mile. I don't think that's its actual length, and they talk in kilometers there usually anyway.
But they still call it the beer mile. That's funny.
Yeah, at least he does. And so we went to several breweries. Boy, I wish I could remember them all. Urbanaut was one. St. James, I think, was the name of one. Oh, the one I'm kicking myself on the most is the first one that we visited, and I talked to the owner and head brewer for probably an hour. Just had a wonderful time there. I will have to look that up and get that in the show notes because I cannot remember. Actually, I think I have his business card. No, it's not nearby. Anyway, and he does wonderful English style beers, and I had 2 beers off the beer engine that were just delicious. I had an ESB as well as a porter off the beer engine. They're just so good. And it wasn't quite the last one. We went to the Garage Project, which is different from the Garage Project. That's the US one. The Garage Project is the Kiwi one. But they do really good beers. If you ever got, so they export their beers out of New Zealand. So if you've gotten a New Zealand beer in the US, it is probably from them. Like, there's a really good chance. They also win a lot of awards and just really make good beer. We had a great time there. In fact, we drank a gold medal winner from the World Beer Cup. Can't remember which year it was from. It might have been this last year in Philadelphia. But it was delicious. It was a creek, if I remember correctly, or at least a cherry sour. It was really, really good. And then eventually we got home. That was actually, we got home Monday. We're recording this on Friday. We got home Monday. I went to work on Tuesday. It's been a busy week.
That's ambitious. I'm not gonna lie.
The flight home. So all the flights, right? This is usually something people are interested in. It's a 16-hour flight from San Francisco to Melbourne. That's like 15 and a half hours in the air. Long flight. The flight from Auckland to San Francisco is, I think, 11 and a half hours in the air. So call it a 12-hour flight. It left Auckland at like 1 o'clock and landed in San Francisco at 7 a.m. the same day. So my Monday Went so long. I didn't get home till 8 p.m. After it, I had left the house at 9 a.m. just because of when we were ready and when the checkout from the Airbnb was. So my Monday was just so many hours. It was that 12 hours plus whatever in San
Right?
Francisco and the flight home. I don't know. It's tough math because of the time zones.
And you still went to work the day after you got back. That's crazy.
Yeah, it actually, so the flight back felt easier. I don't know why really. Like we just napped a little bit, but it was just a long day. And then I pretty much crashed that night and was fine in the morning. Yeah. Anyway, that was my trip. It wasn't super beer focused, but I managed to find beer somehow.
Of course, that's how it works. My trips were kind of similar, that they were not beer focused this time, but I did manage to figure out beers while I was there. The first one I did was an MSC cruise. Um, for those of you who know me, you know that I think a 3-day cruise is kind of ridiculous because by the time you get to know the ship, you're leaving the ship.
Mm,
So, but this was for one of the both of the things that I were doing were for the Senate organization that I'm a part of, the JCI Senate. So this one was a group that involved North America and the Americas and the English speaking Caribbean countries. So it was interesting. There was probably about 20 of us that went on this cruise. I've never been on an MSC ship, which I'm told it's like the European version of Carnival, is what people say. I don't know. I thought it was a beautiful ship. It was definitely gorgeous. There were things that were different from the cruises that I've been on before. I felt like I don't know if they had new staff that they were trying to teach or what, because there were some service aspects that I was like, well, that's weird. And I don't know if that's just the Europeanness of it or what. They had really good beer in the sports bar. There was a Belgian beer on tap that I drank at least once a day. My go-to drink on the cruise right now is a Hugo Spritz, though.
mm,
So
I don't
for
know what
some
that is.
reason, I'm like, well, I'm elderflower obsessed. So it's basically an elderflower and gin spritz. So and apparently I just read an article that that's like the new spritz over the Aperol spritz, which makes sense because I think Aperol is too bitter. I don't know why people enjoy it so much.
Maybe this is the drink of the summer now.
Yeah. So the Hugo spritz, that's been my thing for a couple years now on the boats. I didn't even get off the ship. I I feel bad because I really wanted to go to Riptide and reach out to them again to try to be on the show. I'm going to have to send an email though, because it, getting off the boat, I was just like, I don't even want to leave the boat at this point. Like we had really good rooms and we had access to a special area of the ship because we were in the room. So the room that we were in, and it just, it was so short. Every day was a port day. And to me, being on a cruise, the whole point is being on the boat.
Mm,
Like I like going to all the places, but I also really like being on the boat.
right.
So, like a transatlantic cruise to me, I think sounds amazing. So, while I didn't, I don't know that I would like switch my loyalties from Royal Caribbean over to MSC. I didn't hate being on that boat, and I would definitely get on another boat if somebody asked me to again.
Mhm.
I mean, the food was good, the drinks were good. There
Yeah.
was a lot of more smoking sections for those of you that smoke on the MSC cruises than there were on Carnival or Royal Caribbean.
Maybe that's the
So,
European part.
yes, I think that has a lot to do with it. The dress was very different on the boats too. The dress code was the dress that we saw around us was much more European. There were a lot more people speaking different languages, which I found fascinating because I could sit in the bar area and listen to conversations of like 4 different groups in different languages.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. Some people did not, but I enjoyed it. Like
Right.
it was really good people watching, in my opinion. But that was kind of it. We flew in the day of the cruise. We flew out the day we got off. So it wasn't like we're going to spend some time in Miami.
Right.
The next trip that I took though was to San Antonio. And I thought it was funny that you said it was 50 degrees in New Zealand because it was like 114 when I was in San Antonio.
Yeah, I heard there's a heat wave going on back here.
So there was also flooding while we were there.
Oh no.
Our golf tournament got flooded out because the golf course got flooded, so we couldn't do that. It was so humid and it was so hot. It was crazy. But I did make sure I got to some breweries. The first brewery I went to, I can't think of the name off the top of my head.
Yeah,
it was interesting. They had some interesting food. They had a lot of sours going on, and like they had an old brew. Well, they had a quad, but it was a soured quad.
Okay.
And I was like, but you didn't tell me that when I ordered it.
Right. That's sneaky.
So I thought that was weird,
Yeah.
but it was decent beer. I didn't mind it. I ordered more, so
That
obviously
feels
I
like
didn't
something you'd want to warn people before they get that.
Right. So well, it took me a little bit. Like I had to read into things and figure out what was going on. That it was part of this series because the waitress didn't really know a whole lot about what they were telling me.
Yeah.
And then we hit a place called Rockin' Brews.
Okay.
Which was very interesting because they had a watch party going on that everything was in a different language. Not Spanish, because I would have understood some of that. But so obviously whatever one of the teams that was playing was watching there.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of different beers that were, I got to try a lot of local beers. And then we went to this little town called, why can't I think of the name now? Good grief. We went to this little town outside Green, spelled Groon, but it's apparently Green. It has the oldest dance hall in Texas.
All right.
And we went to the oldest dance hall. We hit there was an open air bar there that we hit, and then there was like a speakeasy that we were trying to go to, but it was so hot. We did not get to very many stores there. But the food was crazy. They brought me out a piece of cake that no shit was like half a cake.
Oh wow.
One piece of cake for like $7. I ate for 3 days.
Yeah.
That's how big that cake was.
I mean, that's good and bad. That's a lot of cake.
Yeah.
Which is its own problem.
So, but
did you go to the Alamo?
It was a cute little town. I did go to the Alamo. We went down. I didn't go into the Alamo. Okay. So I went to the Alamo. I went to the bars around the Alamo.
Yeah.
So again, it was like 114 degrees that day. So my friends wanted to go to the Alamo, and I was like, I was told I need to go to this bar outside the Alamo called the Menger Bar.
Perfect. Our itineraries match.
What I didn't know is that it had a huge tie to Teddy Roosevelt, which is my favorite president.
Oh, nice.
So that was really cool for me to walk around and look at the history of that bar and sit there and have a beer, maybe where Teddy Roosevelt had a beer.
Yeah.
But
should have sat in every chair. Then you would have known for sure.
Yeah. There was another bar around the corner that we went to too that I had beers there. We had beers. I tried to get a Texas beer everywhere I went. Even if I wasn't at a Texas brewery. So I did have quite a few Texas beers while I was there. I'm very slow about putting videos up. I just finally put out a couple of things about Texas. I did my flights. While my friends were looking at the Alamo, I got in a car and I got in an Uber and went to Roadmap Brewing, which that is my suggestion. If you're going to San Antonio, of all the breweries that I went to, that one I fell in love with. I love their beer. I love the place. And it could be that there were puppies there.
That does help.
So it was really funny because I had to go to the bathroom by the time I got there. So I'm like running in right to the bathroom. And as I was going, there was a dog that was like looking right at me, like, oh, you're going to, like, stood to attention, like, oh, you're going to pet me, right? And I'm like, I'd stop and pet, but I'm not sure. And I kept running to the bathroom. So when I came back out, I was like, is it okay if I pet? Like, and she's like, if she'll let you. So I pet the puppy. We bonded. It was awesome. There was a poodle sitting across from us that like stood up like, oh, I would like some attention to you. But then when I put my hand out to see if she wanted to be pet, she kind of did the no thing and like stuck her nose up in the air and turned away. I was like, all right, that's a no.
Yeah.
But as somebody whose family has adopted dachshunds for years, I am very versed in I want you to pet me, but I don't want you to touch me.
Yeah.
Look that dogs give. So I always try to ask before I actually just pet, just because I don't know what their actual temperament is.
That's right.
But I usually will pay attention to a dog before I will pay attention to the dog's owner, which is probably not always a good thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of dog owners are used to that.
Yeah, but the beer was good. I enjoyed it. Their flight was the Texas map outline, which I find fun that because they're very proud of their state. They're in Texas, which I mean I can't blame them. Everything I saw was pretty cool. We did dinner on the riverfront at a pretty ritzy restaurant. It was fantastic actually. I can't say anything bad about it. And then we did the river walk, the river boat tour.
Okay.
In the evening, so that was pretty cool.
Nice.
And the next day we hit some breweries. I went out kind of a little bit a ways from the city center, and the first brewery was really good. They had good food. I like the beer. And then the next brewery that we went to, I went specifically because of it was called True. It was a dog-friendly brewery. That's why I went. I like, if I'm going to go to these breweries, at least I'm going to see some dogs.
That's right.
I did see a couple of dogs, but they weren't when I first got there. We got dropped off at the CVS across the street because we needed to pick some things up, and we figured, oh, it's only a block to walk. You just have to cross the street and walk half a block down to get to the brewery. Well, in 114 degrees, a half a block is a really long walk.
It is.
Like I was soaked by the time we got into that brewery.
Yeah, and Texas, the roads can be kind of squirrely anyway. You may not be able to cross them.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a pretty busy road that we had to cross, but there was a crosswalk. You know, we walked a little bit out of the way to get to the crosswalk.
Yeah.
But it was Thirsty Pup Brewing, and they really made an impression on me because I told them the reason that I came was because I'm big on dogs, and he's like, yeah, we are too. He's like, we actually got a dog from the brewery because they had a event where they had rescues come in, and they fell in love with a dog there. And he's like, yeah, we get to know the dogs more than we get to know the people sometimes. He was like, I had a situation come in one time where there was a dog that I knew, but the person didn't look familiar. And I had to be like, you're not this dog's owner, are you? And he was like, no, I'm just dog sitting. Like,
the dog led me to the brewery, though. Yeah.
So, and I did get a tattoo while I was there.
Hey, of a dog?
So I have a new Wonder Woman tattoo.
Okay.
On my favorite thing, sleeve.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool. That was a Twisted Tattoo. They were uh, they were amazing. Like, it was a very large tattoo shop. I've never been to a tattoo shop with that many artists.
Hmm.
And the person I got paired up with was amazing. So I liked it. Gabby, shout out to you.
That's good. My wife always made fun of me because I knew her friends' pets' names, but I couldn't remember her friends' names.
I have been known to spend my time hanging out with my friends' pets over them at parties. So
Yeah.
it's not that big of a deal.
No, we have a kitten right now. People come over to see the kitten, not to see
Yeah.
us. Totally understandable.
True story.
Yeah. I do need to point out in show business that we have coming up, we're going to be talking to author Jeremy Banas. Should be next show. He has written, one of the books he has written is Pearl, A History of San Antonio's Iconic Beer.
Nice.
Yep. So he also has a book about Celis beer and a book he co-authored about San Antonio beer. But he is publishing a book about Lone Star beer. So we will be talking to him next show. Anyway, you can talk to him about San Antonio, I am sure.
Yes, I will have plenty of questions. And now I wish I'd have known that. Well, I did kind of know that, but I wish I'd have thought to buy the books before I went to San Antonio.
Oh yeah, true.
Did use the Joel's book, The Flights Across America.
Yeah.
In planning for my trip.
That was the other author. I was trying to remember because we've had a bunch of authors on recently.
Yeah.
Trying to remember that one. I knew that we had one who had done traveling and beer.
Yes, I used Joel's book. I just did it too. I pulled it out because I'm going to Topeka, Kansas in September.
Okay.
And also, Lord knows I don't know anything about Topeka, Kansas. So
yeah, I don't think I've been there. I can't offer anything.
I can't just fly there.
No.
I have to fly there and either take a train or rent a car to get to Topeka.
Okay, awesome.
So fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So what else is going on? I've heard that there's a lot of stuff going on. What kind of stuff did you have to talk about?
So I am interested in Michigan beer news because there seems to have been a lot of it, hot and heavy, while we were out in June. Like, I would check in on the Discord, the Michigan beer Discord, and it was always, there was news all the time.
Oh my gosh, it's been crazy. It really has. We have lost quite a few breweries this month that are either shut down, going to shut down shortly, or are looking for somebody to buy them. Cadillac Straits, Four Circles, Barrel and Beam, which that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Grand River shut down its Marshall location. Motor City Brewworks shut down, but then reopened.
Right.
Farmington Brewing is for sale. He is looking for somebody to carry on his legacy. And in addition, we had Hophead Farms go out of business, which that is kind of sad for the hop industry here.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about how Michigan was historically a hop state.
Yes. So we do still have hops growing. I follow the Hop Alliance quite often. So it's always interesting. They have posted a lot of different stuff about that. Some of the good news, though, is that Voodoo Brewing just opened a tap room in Plymouth, Canton. We did head over there. I'm hoping to get the new owners on the show. It's an interesting model because it's just a tap room. They bring in the Voodoo beer, and then they've got a nice array of guest taps on as well.
Okay.
In addition to their food. So if you've ever been to Voodoo, it looks like a Voodoo Brewing. Like, it's the same artwork on the walls, things like that. The people were really nice. The space is great. I'm excited because I think it'll be a good place for people to go and hang out with their friends for a couple hours. It's not just a one and done type of brewery.
Is Plymouth Canton over by the airport, sort of? Or no? Am I thinking?
Kind of.
Okay.
It's probably about 20 minutes from the airport.
Okay. I feel like I've been over that way before.
So I'm pretty sure that you probably have. And then we've also got Cabin North Brewing just opened in Detroit. So I also went to visit them. I really liked that Kolsch that they had was named after a pet of theirs that passed away. So
yeah,
that obviously I was like, we'll do the Kolsch.
mm-hmm.
Solid Kolsch. I did try a couple of other IPAs that I thought were pretty good. So I'm interested to go and visit again for longer. I just stopped in before a Diva event so I could check them out because it like came out of nowhere. I had no idea this brewery was even in the works.
Right.
And when I researched it, I couldn't find anything. Like there was nothing until we're open.
And you're generally like on the pulse, or at least
used to be.
right.
So
Keep
now
people
I'm
out of the
starting
loop.
to question myself though, because
Right.
there are a couple more breweries that I know are planning to open that I don't have in the top of my head anymore. Our brewing in Holland just posted they're expecting the okay to open their second location any day. And Atwater Brewing, who sold to Molson Coors in 2020, the owner Mark Reith just purchased them back from Tilray, who purchased them in 2023.
Interesting.
So, and I have a quote from his Fox 2 Detroit. He said, "My heart has always been with Atwater, and I'm thrilled to have the brewery back in my hands. I appreciate the stewardship of both 10th and Blake and Tilray over the past 5 years and the contributions they made to the business. At the same time, what I hope to bring is deeper connection to the community that only a local owner-operator can truly provide." So
nice. I like
I'm
the
really
sentiment
excited
a lot.
about that. Obviously, I think that the way a brewery sticks around is by their connection to the community.
Yep, I agree.
So that is.
I want to add in there that Bottom Creek is open.
Yes.
And that was one that we talked at length with Stephen from Opa Design Studio in episode 384. That's the one that's on the huge, massive land and has a big outdoor amphitheater and hiking trails and cabins and stuff.
Yes, I am looking. I have to go and I have to plan a trip up to visit that, apparently.
I do too. I'm excited for it.
So, I mean, that's kind of what I got right now. There's some stuff opening. There are some things closing that is very heartbreaking. But again, there's a lot of them just still plugging away, doing their thing. We need to get out and support them.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm wondering if we're hitting like, what is it, the 5-year or 7-year thing? Like most businesses have a 5-year plan. I'm wondering if we're hitting that for some of them. I mean, some of those that you listed are older than 5 years, but
yeah,
there's still those milestones and people hitting certain ages and just being done. Or
right.
I saw one of them was because they had to move to another state for something else.
4 Circles, they're moving. Same thing that happened with Kim up in Saugatuck is that she had to move to take care of her family. So, and then Motor City Brewworks, that was a situation with the water supply that came in from the city, like how their brewery was run. Farmington, that's a health issue. It's not really something that is business oriented. So everything happens.
Right.
There's a lot of different things that are creating all of these closings.
Yeah, we lost Scarlet Lane due to health issues, which that hurts. They're such a great place, such great beer. So similar to the Atwater thing, Hop and Frog is changing owners. So there is an article about that, but Hop and Frog is a pretty big name. Boris and all of those. But the founder and brewer Fred Karm is stepping back into an advisory role. Zachary Baston, who has been working for Fred for 15 years, he will oversee management, and then there's some unnamed ownership partners. Hop and Frog opened in 2006. They were just having their 20th birthday. So, but it just feels like, 20 years, that's a while, plus whatever experience he had before opening the brewery. And he has done a good thing with that brand. But yeah, those were I'm glad that we got caught up on the Michigan beer news.
Yeah, I'm glad there isn't more. I hope I didn't miss anybody.
If you did, it was not intentional.
I've been trying to keep track, but man, it gets sad every now and then.
Yeah, right. It's sad when they close, even, that there's so many different reasons that they can go. It's exciting when they open.
Right. It is exciting. I was really excited to see Cabin North. And, I was just at Six Spoke. That's actually the reason I was in town. I was over in Detroit because I was going to a social at Six Spoke. They're about ready to celebrate their first anniversary.
Oh, fun.
And, full measure, they're coming up on their first anniversary too.
Right.
So that's exciting. And then there's another brewery set to open in the Detroit, like in the city proper. So
yeah,
there's lots going on.
I don't know. It almost feels hopeful again.
Sometimes it's sad and then it's not. One other thing that I did pick up on is Saugatuck Brewing and Vivat Brewery and Spirits. We had talked about companies that are going to merge. We're going to see a lot of companies merging their stuff so that they can, or creating alliances, I guess. I don't know how to word that. Right. And Saugatuck Brewing and Brewery Vivants are forming a partnership to share resources.
Okay.
So Vivant is going to utilize Saugatuck's nearby brewing facilities instead of pursuing an expensive expansion at its own site. And that follows an arrangement initiated last year where Vivant began using Saugatuck's brewery under an alternating proprietorship. That partnership allows Saugatuck to maximize its excess capacity while enabling both breweries to operate independently, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
Honestly.
We had talked about it at one point, Halfacre and Maplewood are doing something like that too.
Yep.
So I don't know if they've clarified what exactly the roles are going to be, but that was back in March that they announced that they were combining forces.
Yep.
Figuring that stuff out. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like the brewing industry is just hitting a different level of maturity among all these breweries that I'd say grew up with, but I'm old.
Yeah.
I feel like I was old when they started, so drank up with.
Yes, drank up with sounds much better.
No. All right. Well, we had more articles planned, but we are coming up on an hour, Wendy.
I know. I told you I think that it's going to take longer to go through our trips than
we did. I talked longer than I expected.
That's all right. Sorry. We are interested in more than just beer, and we know our beer folks are also interested in more than just beer. I do have one other thing to tell you, Rob, that I didn't talk about since we're no last questions here. Yeah. I learned a new game.
Oh yeah, 5 Crowns. That's a wonderful game.
While I was on the MSC cruise, my friend brought it, and I immediately thought of you. I'm like, I know he's played it before.
Oh yeah, we played that at trivia sometimes.
Besides Sky Joe, I now have 5 Crowns that I'm like, yeah, let's play that.
Excellent. I don't have it with me handy here, but we've been playing Overlap a lot recently, which also is a deck of cards. It's got a bit of a spatial thing to it. If the card that you play overlaps colors with the card that's already there, then you have to draw cards. Otherwise it's like Uno. You're just trying to go out. So
okay.
A grid of 9 squares, and you just overlap. Yeah, 5 Crowns is basically rummy, but you get a different number of cards in your hand each round.
Yes, and a different wild, which is what threw me
Yes.
off. So I lost.
But the wild is always the number of cards that you have in your hand.
Yes, but that doesn't necessarily, that didn't help me
Yeah.
when I was drinking those Belgium beers.
Yeah. And the game's over, when the queens go wild, I think it is. Something like that. Or the kings go wild.
Something like it.
Yeah.
No, well,
Yeah.
you gotta, whoever hits the number first.
Yeah.
You have to go through all the rounds, though, I think.
Yeah. I don't know that. Yeah, we do finish
You have to
it.
go through all the rounds.
We sometimes start at like 7 because we only have so much time, and we're actually there to play trivia.
Oh, yeah, that
And
makes sense.
we play cards between questions. Some questions we have to debate longer than others. When I say debate, I mean talk ourselves out of the right answer.
Yes, that's normal, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think every trivia team does it.
You know what? That reminds me. That MSC cruise, that was the one thing that I missed. I only saw one trivia the entire time.
Huh.
And it was a superhero trivia. Like, I knew all the answers. I was
Nice.
there while they were going over the answers because we were going to meet to play games.
And
I got there at the end to watch them go over the answers. I'm like, damn it, I could have won this one.
Shoot. All right. As I said, we have a show coming up in 2 weeks. Normal show. We are working on scheduling shows after that. Do you have anything coming up that you want to plug, Wendy?
No. Well, actually, I am going on a beer crawl tomorrow. We are going to hit Stumblebum, who I'm hoping to talk to you about doing an on-site show. We've been talked about that before.
Yeah, I'd love to.
And then Griffin Claw and Fillmore 13, which I haven't been to in probably a year or so. So I'm excited to check them out again. Before our evening ends at the Hub.
So
for some axe throwing.
There's a small chance that the audio version of this will get out before you leave on your beer crawl, and maybe some stalkers will show up and say hi.
That's funny. It will be there early in the day, though. So.
Okay. So yeah, it's almost
probably
not. Yeah. As for myself, I have a trip to Dallas coming up. In fact, it's the same week as the next show, so it's going to be a busy week again for me. A trip to Jasper, Indiana, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and then actually, I don't know where I'm going at the end of September, but I'm going somewhere at the end of September.
Oh, that's nice. So, I do have some things in the works, but I'm not quite ready to make those happen yet. So
I have been telling people, I'm happy to announce it here, I'm going to New Zealand in March of 2028. I let them know at work already. They said it's okay.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, and I do just want to, the Grand Rapids thing, that is Grand Con. I cannot recommend it enough. That is the board game convention that is up there Labor Day weekend. But I will be there, and if you stop by and look for the person who's dressed as a banana or pickle or something, that is probably me. Come say hi. But that's all I got.
All right. Well, we will see you guys or talk to you guys in 2 weeks. Hopefully, we'll see a little bit of pictures from our trips coming up here on the Better on Draft site.
Yeah.
I do have some pictures that went out from Cabin North and Voodoo Brewing. Definitely go give them a shout out. Go and try them out, see how they are. Give them some support. Our businesses need it here. And make sure you visit your local brewery.
Right. And I already told Ken this, but I'm going to say it anyway. In Australia, by and large, they do not do tasting flights. They do tasting paddles.
That's nice.
So with that, we'll end the show like we end every show and say, whatever you think of your beer, we think it's better on draft.
Cheers.